The moment the clock strikes midnight on your 18th birthday, something legally massive happens. You can vote. You can sign contracts. You can be tried as an adult in a court of law. But here's the strange part nobody tells you. Your brain did not get the memo. You probably assume 18 is the finish line, the moment childhood officially ends and adulthood begins, clean and total, like flipping a switch. But the real answer is far stranger. 18 is a legal fiction. Your identity, the actual sense of who you are, is nowhere near finished, and the science of what happens next will change how you see every 18-year-old you meet, including the one you used to be. Here is what nobody tells you. The law needs a single number. Societies require a clean cutoff to decide who can vote, who can be drafted, who can be held responsible for a crime. 18 was chosen for convenience, not biology. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term planning, weighing consequences and controlling impulses, is nowhere close to finished at 18. Neuroscientist Jay Geed's brain imaging research, the same longitudinal study that mapped adolescent brain pruning, found that key regions of the prefrontal cortex continue developing well into a person's mid-20s. The legal adult and the neurological adult are, quite literally, different people living in the same body. Think about that for a second. On your 18th birthday, the government hands you the keys to adult life. Your brain is still building the car. But something else happens on that birthday, something psychological rather than legal, and it might matter even more. Psychologist Erik Erikson, one of the most influential developmental theorists of the 20th century, proposed that humans move through a series of identity crises across the lifespan, each one forcing a resolution before the next stage can begin. He identified the transition around late adolescence into early adulthood as identity versus role confusion, the stage where a person must answer a deceptively simple question. Who am I, separate from my parents, my school, my hometown? Erikson's research suggested this question does not resolve quickly. For most people, it takes years of trial, error, and reinvention before an answer feels stable. That is why 18 rarely feels like arrival. It feels like standing at the edge of a cliff you were told would have solid ground. You lose your built-in identity almost overnight. School gave you a role, class rank, sports team, the group you sat with at lunch. Whether you liked it or not, those things told you who you were. Turn 18 and walk away from that structure, and the identity scaffolding disappears with it. No wonder so many new adults feel unmoored in their first year out of high school. It is not weakness. It is a psychological system suddenly missing its supports. There is a term for what many people experience in the years right after 18, and it explains a phenomenon that used to be considered rare, but is now recognized as remarkably common. Psychologist Jeffrey Arnett coined the concept of emerging adulthood, arguing that industrialized societies have created an entirely new developmental stage between adolescence and true adulthood, roughly spanning ages 18 to 25. Arnett's research, based on interviews with hundreds of young adults, found this period is marked by identity exploration, instability, self-focus, and a persistent feeling of being in between, not quite a teenager, not quite settled into adult responsibilities. His work reframed something that felt like personal failure into something universal. If you felt lost at 19 or 20, you were not falling behind. You were living through a stage that barely existed a century ago, created by longer education, delayed marriage, and delayed careers. Here is the twist almost nobody expects. This prolonged uncertainty is not a flaw in modern life. It might be one of its most useful features. For most of human history, the transition to adulthood was abrupt and total. Your ancestors in hunter-gatherer societies did not experience a gentle, multi-year exploration of identity. Anthropological research on small-scale societies shows that puberty rites and formal initiation ceremonies often marked adulthood in a single ritualized event, sometimes lasting only days. One moment you were a child, the next, through ceremony ordeal, or symbolic transformation, you were recognized by the entire group as a full adult, with adult responsibilities and expectations attached immediately. Modern life removed that ceremony, but kept the underlying need. Humans still crave a moment of transformation, a marker that says you are different now. Without a ritual to provide it, the brain and the culture around it improvise. Graduation ceremonies, first apartments, first jobs, even 18th birthday parties themselves